Donald Trump, who has a so far unexplained affinity for dictators, seems to crave two things more than anything else: power and acclaim. He wants to be able to do what he wants and have people cheer for him while he does it. Exhibit A, this latest report from Jonathan Swan in Axios, which says, quote, 4 sources close to Trump tell Axios that the revocation of former CIA Director John Brennan's clearance belongs in the same category as the president's love of the pardon power and the signing of executive orders. It's a power that is uniquely and solely his and matches his idea of how the presidency ought to be: pure power and instant gratification. He should see Hamilton. And while stripping Brennan's security clearance may have scratched Trump's itch for power, it's a bad day for the president on the recognition front. That military parade he wanted, it's now canceled. Here's what he tweeted about that this morning. The local politicians who run Washington, D.C. poorly know a windfall when they see it. When asked to give us a price for holding a great celebratory military parade, they wanted a number so ridiculously high that I canceled it. Never let someone hold you up. I will instead attend the big parade already scheduled at Andrews Air Force Base on a different date, and I'll go to Paris to their parade celebrating the end of the war on November 11th. I'm sure you had to Google that. Maybe we will do something next year in D.C. when the cost comes down. I'm not reading anymore. Oh, wait, this is good. Now we can buy more jet fighters. Joining the table, I think for the 5th day this week, the Rev Al Sharpton, host of Politics Nation. This would be loony if it wasn't so scary. I mean, seriously, the whole idea. I hate calling him un-American because I think that's usually beyond the line, but it is not an understanding of the American government to only I mean, the reason there are so few presidential powers that you can, levers that you can pull unilaterally is by design. And the fact that he likes them the most sort of betrays the point of what the presidency was supposed to be.
And what the military is for. I mean, he acts like we're playing with toy soldiers.
Right.
Or something to that regard. But when you're dealing with someone whose mentality is that all the parades in Manhattan up and down Fifth Avenue were really in honor of him because that's where the Trump Towers are.
Because that's where he rented or built?
He really, that's right. So he probably would think of anything because he's just thinking parade. We're talking about the military. We're talking about what we're showing the world. And he acts like this is some outing or something that we're doing that does not in any way take in the serious signal of what a parade ought to be. And the money. I mean, he's actually arguing with the mayor of Washington, D.C. about the money. I thought the Republicans were the people that didn't want to spend the money and increase the debt. So, I mean, the whole world is turned upside down with Donald Trump.
And he wants to go to Paris. He's going to own the libs by going to Paris. Anytime Donald Trump is cornered, he reveals himself as this sybaritic rich guy.
But he has all these imaginary friends that's been downing Paris. Now he's going to Paris. But he told us about a friend who we can't find the name of that has talked about Paris is in Paris.
We can never find
I like when O'Brien's here. He brings the Bloomberg words like sybaritic.
Yeah,
you can use that.
That's awesome. I like that. Great word. I just will say that again. Go back earlier. I messed up when I talked before about McRaven. I called him a general when in fact he's an admiral. There are no generals in the Navy. So everyone on Twitter, please calm down. I got that wrong. But again, here's the president who doesn't know one of the most decorated and successful military figures of our last 50 years wanting to throw a parade to honor our military. Now, what is that? Does that not make you think all along that what the parade was really about was about the greater glory of Donald Trump and not about celebrating?
Theory,
he likes a bunch of big guns.
He saw the North Korean parades and was like, if he can have one, I can have one.
He wants a bunch of people strutting in front of him in front of the parade stand because it's a little Game of Thrones, like having a duel, a jousting match.
Saluting to him.
Yes, it's a little. It's classic authoritarian behavior, like Juan Perón and Evita up on the balcony of the Casa Rosada, looking down. Looking down at the strutting military forces who are under my command. That's what this is all about. And more power to whatever the real story is for why this got canceled. Whoever pulled the strings, put the price tag, whatever they did to get this shut down. More power to them. You're the hero of the week.
Donna, I want to raise the more. I mean, it's silly, and we can laugh about it because he probably did like the pictures of a parade. He went to Bastille Day and liked what he saw. But there is a serious point here, I think, about the ability to act unilaterally. And it flows from the conversation we had in the last block about pardons. It flows from this idea that not only does he not want to work with Congress, forget about Congress. I mean, he doesn't coordinate with his own staff. He stripped Brennan's clearances without calling the director of the CIA or the DNI. There is this unilateralism in him that has nothing to do with not working with the other branch of government and everything to do with simply sitting there with the clicker in his hand and his device in the other and tweeting and pardoning and executive ordering his way through his presidency.
Well, it's true. And I mean, and he doesn't hide that. I mean, he has said on a number of occasions that he would like to have that kind of unilateral authority that he's witnessed in autocratic societies, that he wants that in the United States. And he is acting that way in the limited way that he can, whether it's through around dangling pardons or security clearances or trying to order the military to have a parade. I actually thought the best response to the president was from Mayor Muriel Bowser, who clapped right back and said, don't blame it on D.C. We've already spent $21.6 million on your parades because in Trump's America, we've had that. You're showing it on the screen. I think, we really do need to challenge this president over and over again. And I know it gets tedious because otherwise he will power grab. And we've seen that too many times. And
Joyce, let me ask you, taking this conversation from the glib to really the gravely serious for this president who's under investigation. Lawrence Tribe tweeted, the classic way to commit a high crime or misdemeanor is to abuse, to use for an illegitimate purpose like obstructing justice or punishing critics, a unilateral presidential power like the power to deny access to information or to dangle a pardon. Again, just tying this into the last conversation, does this affinity for, this appetite for, this ease and I mean, I worked for a president. Presidential pardons were done at the very end of the presidency, and they were so, it was really one of the most sober deliberations. I mean, he decided not to pardon one of his most senior aides, Scooter Libby, and there were people inside his White House very close to him who disagreed with him. But to see this president, so flip about pardoning people he's never met, never heard of, over cases and crimes he knows nothing about.
It's just a textbook case of abuse of power, and it seems to be what this president thrives on. You can imagine being president of the United States and all the capacity that you would have to act and to influence and better people's lives. And this is a president who enjoys pardoning, who enjoys stripping security clearances, who wants to have a parade to his glory, as opposed to doing the real work of government. There's a saying in the Justice Department, you can go fast alone or far together. And this is a president who likes to go fast, doesn't really want to think about the consequences, but the hard work of bringing in stakeholders, it seems to be beyond him.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.